Hi, today we are specifically looking at the most common forecasting techniques that FP&A teams use to predict future trends. So let's get started. Forecasting is an essential part of business planning and decision making. It involves using historical data, current trends, and various analytical methods to predict future events. Accurate forecasting can help businesses prepare for the future, allocate resources efficiently, and make informed strategic decisions. Today, we are going to explore four of the most common forecasting techniques. So let's get started. Number one is judgmental or qualitative forecasting. This technique relies on human judgment and expertise rather than numerical data. It is particularly useful when historical data is limited or when forecasting new products or markets. Methods like the Delphi method, which gathers consensus from a panel of experts, is a popular example of judgmental based forecasting. Let's take an example. Imagine a company wants to forecast the demand for a new product that has no historical sales data. They decide to use the judgment based forecasting technique that involves obtaining inputs from a panel of experts through a series of iterations. Here is how it might look like. Step number one is to select the right experts. Step number two would be to send them some questions and get feedback. Step number three would be to go through that feedback and reiterate for another round, and finally agree upon the inputs and prepare the forecast. The second method is driver based forecasting. Driver based forecasting is a strategic approach that focuses on identifying key business drivers to predict future performance. Instead of getting bogged down by every little detail, this method focuses on critical factors that truly influences outcomes. Whether it's sales volume, price changes, or market trends, understanding these drivers can give businesses a clearer, more actionable forecast. So why do most companies focus on driver based forecasting? It's because it's efficient, it's focused, and it aligns perfectly with strategic planning. By concentrating on the few key drivers, businesses can streamline their forecasting process, reduce complexity, and improve accuracy. This not only saves time but also enhances decision making at all levels. However, identifying the right drivers is the crucial part, as they can vary widely across different industries and even within different areas of the same business. Some common examples of drivers include website traffic for an e-commerce platform, foot traffic for retail stores, or subscription rates for a service-based business. The key here is to pinpoint what directly impacts your revenues, costs, and overall performance. So, how do we apply driver-based forecasting? Let's break it down. Step one is to identify your key driver, and this is the most important step. Next step is to model the relationship between these drivers and your financial outcome. This often requires a little bit of trial and error to accurately capture the impact of each driver. Step number three is to forecast future performance by projecting these drivers based on historical data, analysis, and strategic assumptions. The benefit of driver based forecasting is that it improves accuracy and strategic alignment among the various departments of the company. However, there are some challenges like identifying the most important drivers and then accurately modeling the relationship between the drivers and the outcome. The next method is statistical based modeling, a statistical technique that analyzes historical data to identify patterns and predict future trends. Some common methods under statistical models include moving averages, exponential smoothing, and regression analysis. These methods are great for forecasting demand, sales, and other metrics that follow a predictable pattern over time. Let's take an example for moving averages. Say you have data for the last 6 months of sales. You can calculate the 3 month moving average like this. Next, let's see an example of regression analysis. Say you want to predict the sales of a product based on two variables. First one is advertising expenses and second is time spent on marketing. If you want to represent this by a linear regression equation, it might look something like this. Now for this, we may want to refresh our statistics basics of terms like dependent variables, independent variable, intercepts, coefficients, and error term. So let's do that. There are two types of variables in this example, dependent variable and independent variable. Sales is a dependent variable. Beta 0 is the intercept. In simpler terms, intercept represents the expected value of the dependent variable when all independent variables are 0. Beta 1 and beta 2 are coefficients representing the effect of advertising and time spent respectively. The coefficient quantify the impact of each independent variable on the dependent variable, providing valuable insights into the relationships between these variables in the context of a linear regression model. And finally, the error term accounts for factors that model doesn't include, like uncertainties or random variations that might affect the dependent variable but are not explained by the independent variable in the model. Lastly, let's talk about the cutting edge forecasting method, which is based on AI and machine learning. These techniques use a complex algorithm to analyze large sets of data, identify patterns that might not be visible to human eye. AI forecasting is becoming increasingly popular for its ability to handle vast amounts of data and its accuracy in predicting trends. So, which forecasting techniques should you use? The answer depends on your specific needs, availability of data, and the level of accuracy required. In practice, analysts use a combination of these methods to develop comprehensive forecasts. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on FP&A. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.